So what's going to happen is, like I said, it's going to be put out in different, like first, it's a docuseries, so you could understand the characters. Then it's going to turn into possibly, which is what I was showing y'all, because then after the docuseries, it was turning into a scripted. So from the docuseries, my method is I write from the doc. So as I'm interviewing you, because that's how I'd write the script anyway, I'm actually doing the doc. Like that's.
Is Dame actually writing these scripts? I never really thought about that. Other than Paid in Full, what else he got? I know he got a couple joints. Paper Soldiers, that was the first time I saw Kevin Hart. And he had a couple other things. I never thought about whether or not Dame was actually writing his joints.
I'm doing my book. So my book, Power, Michelle Valentine is writing it. We've been doing Zooms.
Power.
But she's gonna come out here and, I'm gonna make a doc at the same time. As soon as that's done, I'm making the TV show. But I want it to be on my network. I don't want debt. I don't want no debt to make nothing.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, back to the movies for a quick second, man. I came across a video and Camron said he was highly against doing the ending scene where he says, "I'll snitch," and
he was.
I'll
That's
snitch on
true.
dudes from DC.
That's true. And the problem is, it's a movie, but you don't play a guy that snitched on Washington and then go to Washington with a Lamborghini and stay in the same neighborhood that he had issues in for 3 or 4 days. So from what I was told, they was like, yo, you can't just disrespect us and go to Washington and you just played this dude that told on a lot of people from our neighborhood and they just got aggravated. So I think Cam was just...
I mean, that's a possibility. Most people think it was just an attempted robbery. I don't know for sure. I don't have the inside track on that.
Playing that, I wouldn't have done that. Because when he got shot, what the was you doing there in the first place? With a drop top. And you just played this man, and you going around the neighborhood where people are gonna be triggered. And he got people triggered, and they pulled the trigger. And hopefully he's learned, don't do no shit like that. That's why I don't have any convertibles. You know what I'm saying? It's because it could hit you, you know what I mean? That's crazy. To go into that hostile environment after you've done these things and stay for days, you might get shot. I didn't want him to get shot, but he definitely was against it, and it was a bit of an argument, but he still respected it and did it.
The way he talked now is like he would have wanted him to get shot.
But also, I wanted him to say that because Paul, homeboy had said that. So if you look at the Feds one of the magazines, they did a story on him, he said this shit. So I just repeated what he said. When he said, still gonna be on my dick, pause. He said, when I get home, it's still gonna be on mine. That's what I read. Maybe I say allegedly, but I remember reading that, so that's why I put that in there. So really, I understood that he would come home because he told. He told me. I had a conversation with him on the phone, but I didn't know he told. Once he told me he told, I was like, yeah, I'll talk to you later. And I wasn't talking to him no more. Because I was like, he was telling me he killed Rich, and I'm like, yo, we on the phone, right? He's like, man, I told everything. I told them everything. And then he sent the message to someone else. Like, yo, someone else shouldn't talk so much because I didn't tell, I didn't mention his name. But Jay Black and a lot of the people I'm talking about, that was, Rich Porter's lieutenant.
Does anybody want to see the more of the Paid in Full story? I don't know. I probably could one more time. I don't know if it's worth like a whole series. Is that what you're trying to do, a full series? That might be interesting. It depends on how it's done. Camron said that he didn't want to be in the movie Honor Up because he felt like it was janky in the way it was put together. Power, 50, what they did over there with Power is an example of how it could be. That was great writing, great acting, film, cinematography, everything came together beautifully. If he can pull off something like that, I think it'd be interesting. But I know that's, a story that's closely connected with his life, but I don't know. if the demand is there. You know what I mean? It's not as novel as it was when it first came out. But I don't know, maybe. I would watch it, but it would have to be, it couldn't be janky. Not calling the original Paid in Full janky, because it wasn't. It was nice. It was good actors and all that other stuff.
He made the movie with me. So I always wanted to tell it from his eyes, because he was right with him. And then because we got hit by work with him, and everyone that I know was working with him, and we were all friends. You understand what I'm saying? Except Daniel. And then, you know, it's like a lot of people were getting money in Harlem. A lot. There's also a prequel to be told, which at some point I would love to do. But what I don't think people understand is, like, you can't profit from your crimes. So there's a Son of Sam law.
Yeah, the Son of Sam law. You can't do that. You can't, you know, catch bodies and then write a book about it and all that. That money. In New York State, I'm not sure if this is true throughout the United States, but in New York State, you can't do that. Maybe
put it in the chat. And I'm not saying the chat's always right, but it can give you some direction. So a lot of people think when they come home from jail, they can sell the rights to their story, and they can't. There's a way that you could do it, but you can't. Like, any money that comes has to go to, like, the victims or some shit like that, or to some kind of a charity. But you personally can't make money from your crimes. And I've had this conversation with so many people, but they just don't get it. I'd be like, yo, I can't tell your story. And it's public domain. So when something's in the newspaper, you don't have to buy the rights for it. I don't have to buy the rights for Paid in Full. It was in the newspaper. Do you understand that? And if you don't believe me, ask a lawyer. But if you want some guidance, type that in right now and see what it says about the Son of Sam law and about...
It says a Son of Sam law is a statute initially passed by New York in 1978 after serial killer David Berkowitz gained notoriety, designed to prevent criminals from profiting from the publicity of their crimes, especially by selling their stories. However, the U.S. Supreme Court declared New York's original law unconstitutional in 1991 for violating First Amendment free speech rights by overly restricting expression. Despite the ruling, many states and the federal government have similar laws in place, often with the goal of redirecting any potential profits from crime-related narratives to compensate victims.
So it's in a gray area. You could probably fight something like that, which is insane.
So that meant that it got overturned, but other states still imply it. You know, I'm kidding. So ask: is the Son of Sam law still in effect or not? I hate when it answers like that. But also ask if you have to get someone's rights if it's been in a newspaper. Is it public? What's public domain?
It says yes. The concept of Son of Sam law is still in effect, but these laws have been revised and upheld in various forms since the original New York law was found
so it's
unconstitutional.
Yes. So it's yes, and I'm hot. So I know that anybody that I'm going to buy their rights, if I'm buying it personally, it's going to be an issue. You know what I mean? So I don't have to buy the rights for certain things. If anything that was in the paper, I don't have to buy the rights for it. No one does. And people should check. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to buy the rights for that story. It's good to not buy the rights, but have that person still be down with it, you know? But you don't have to buy the rights. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people, so I would love for, like, Charlamagne or them, if they have a platform, to show people and teach people, but instead they run with the headlines, and it's really making people stupid. And they do this algorithm thing, and it does seem like, you know, they got a lot of bots. Like, I saw a lot of things tagged up saying that I was, like, unhinged, and I'm like, that was the calmest I ever was. So I knew those things were premeditated. They were already written to...
Nah, you look pretty calm today. I've seen some interviews with you where, you know, you can tell he was saucy. Let's say that.
You know, control certain narratives, but he can't control this narrative. He took an L and he showed his ass. Pause. You know, there's no way he should have been interrupting me like that and calling me names. And they called me a loser. That's why I was like, bro, like, I wouldn't let nobody do that shit. And now you think because you're in a radio station, I can't punch you in your mouth. And if I would have, you know, Will Smith them, pause, then I would have been looking crazy. But he was being too disrespectful.
Pause, Will Smith.
Like, yo, I don't think it's disrespectful to say, yo, bro, I think you're gay. Just admit it. Because I don't have anything against gay people. But I don't like when, like, someone pretends they're masculine and that makes other people that are looking for direction think that that's the masculine perspective. I think he should be like, yo, this is from a gay perspective. A gay man looks at things different than a heterosexual man.
That is true.
It is what it is, and there's no offense there.
That's what people be wanting to know. They be, and I don't think a lot of times it's about what you're doing in your bedroom. It's about where you coming from, what's your point of view, what you saying. Because knowing that about you makes you look. It gives clarity to your motivation across the board.
But he acts gay to me. And like after what I was trying to say was, I didn't know Puff was gay or that was doing things that were, rubbing cum paws on his chest. That's gay to me. So I didn't know it. I never knew it.
Not pause.
I heard about it, but I was like, he can't be, because I would have heard about it from, I feel like people would have said something already. So after hearing all that, I'm like, yo, everybody that I thought was gay is gay. I'm not. It's in the music industry, and it seems like they all hang out. So I'm like, yo, if I thought you a beard without a beard, you feel me? I don't see Charlamagne running around with his girl or his kids. He's just talking about other people, like, certain people. I'd be like, why they ain't got, I knew what I was doing when I was outside. I was rolling, I just loved women. I still do, but I'm too old to be doing all that. I want to be a father right now. But I'm like, where's the chicks? None of these dudes be around girls. Like we supposed to be rock stars. I like rock stars that girls like masculine rock stars, and they be around. You ain't got no girls around. And where are they?
I mean, he a married man, so you can't really put that on Charlamagne. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that he's a little bit more comfortable doing legitimate things than most dudes would be. I don't really watch him that closely. I know he definitely had the flag up for a while and all that. I mean, it ain't that important to me, but I do hear what Dame is saying about wanting to know where a person is coming from, particularly when they are expressing their opinions and they had a lot of power on the microphone. Pause, I think. Let me know, Dame.
Like, you famous in a certain kind of way. You can't get a girl? Of course you could. You don't want one. And also, a heterosexual man would have been offended by that. He wasn't offended. He just was like, damn, I didn't want nobody to know. All he was saying was, that's none of your business. But I think it is when you're representing that you're something you're not. And then I'm seeing them on, like, doing shows, and they drag it. Because, I think we did like 3 or 4 million. I did 8 million the last one. Just look at my metrics. I be getting popping, pause. They should say thank you. They should leverage the moment. But the way they leverage it is spread more bullshit. And drag it. Go on other shows and talk about it. Talk about it on their show. Ask people for, like, I just found it hilarious that, they thought that they took such an L that they couldn't let it go. Yeah, y'all took an L. Y'all went up there thinking it was going to be one way and it was another. Good for you. And now you got a lawsuit. Or we got to talk it out. Like with the bankruptcy, you got to go in front, they question you like a committee and all that shit. I'm going to have to answer, why you got jewelry? Why you got suits? Why are they saying these things? It's because I'm working. These are samples. I don't own these things. These are so they can be sold. I'm the spokesperson for my family office, period. But if I didn't file, they would have been sending letters around to everybody. That's his jury. That's what he was saying. I want his jury. I'm like, that's my family office's jury. These glasses are my family office. They're samples. I just want to sell them to people.